This is Inside Colebys, episode 3. Today is the truth about the watch business, pros versus cons.
Crazy, yo. Crazy. Here we go.
Today we're going over a few positives and negatives of the watch industry. I'm going to give you 5 pros and 5 cons on our opinion or our take on the game. So pro number 1 would be it's a nice business to be in. So watches, jewelry and watches, but we're talking about watches today, is seen as, and it is, a glamorous business. Everyone's shop is kitted out lovely now, interior designed, all the offices are very plush. Most of the deals with customers are positive ones. People are coming in to treat themselves to a new watch. It's generally a nice experience. If anyone's ever working away at the trade shows, they're in some of the nicest places around the world. Las Vegas, LA, Miami, Hong Kong, nice places in Europe. They're always in lovely hotels. So that's always cool, working away. Make it a holiday out of it as well. And I'd say, believe it or not, it's easier selling something for a lot more money. Like the top end stuff is the easiest to sell, which if you weren't in the industry, you'd probably think the opposite. But so yeah, number 1, it's definitely a nice business to be in. So number 2 would be it's interesting, whether you're focusing on just retailing watches to customers. Some people just deal with the trade because they find that easier, because a lot of trade people are easier to deal with. If you've got a shop, an office, you can always be working on your online stuff, your social medias, seeing people in person. So it is definitely an interesting job. There's always stuff to be doing. You don't have to be sitting still. The only time you're sitting still is when you can't be bothered. But apart from that, there's definitely always something to be doing. And on that note, as well as being interesting to you, it's 10 times more interesting to someone that ain't in the job, because obviously they're not around it every day. So I think we're lucky there, where even when you're not in the shop or the office and you're talking to someone about watches, people take a genuine interest. You're not talking about something boring, It's not something that's above someone's head. This watches and diamonds is something interesting to have a conversation about. So people just seem naturally attracted to it, which makes the job easier. So it's definitely an interesting business to be in. Number 3, it's a social business. So it's definitely a people business. You're always on the phone, always messaging. You have to build relationships with people, whether it's trade people or people that you're retailing to. But yeah, it's definitely a social business. You'll meet loads of characters along the way. There seems to be plenty of characters in watches and jewelry. Yeah, and I'd say most people in the trade are good people. Like, you have to be, really. You don't go far if you've not got good intentions. Like, if you're, I don't know how to describe it. If you're like a proper person, then you'll just last and get into the right circles. I mean, people obviously do come and go that are up to no good or whatever, but word spreads quickly. It takes a lifetime to get a good reputation and 5 minutes to get a bad one. So, but yes, most of your connections in the trade last your whole business life, and most customers as well. But yeah, so it's a social business, and you're always meeting people and speaking to plenty of different people, which is good. Number 4 would be the potential to earn well. I think if you've got the right mindset, there's no real 9 to 5 in watches now, or you're not really limited, because you're selling products. Like, it's shown that in COVID, a lot of people have excelled where they've got good social medias, good websites, good networks. Yeah, I think there's a lot of moves and a lot of angles. It just seems to never stop. We're on our phones 24/7. We're messaging at 11, 12 at night, 1 in the morning, and back on it at 6, 7 in the morning, So it could be locked down and you're on that, or you're going and seeing. You're not stuck to one spot or kind of stuck to a 9 to 5. There's a lot of potential. So pro number 5 would be you can progress fast. So what I mean by that is, whether you're new to watches or you've got a jeweller's and you want to start watches, or maybe you sell watches but you want to up your stock, or you don't have a shop and you want to get a shop, I think there's a lot of potential to progress fast in the industry. Things are easily researchable. They're very safe. it's a worldwide currency. Watches are known by everyone around the world. So I think you could put a good watch trader in any country and I'd get a good living. Yeah, on that note of progressing fast, I'd say what I was saying earlier, like if you're a proper person or a good character, you'll also progress fast with people in the trade. Like you'll get into the right circles, and yeah, I think you can kind of jump forward quite quick. If you're the right person, you don't need to have known someone for 50 years, you know. If you're the right sort of character, you can get on well with people and kind of build up relationships quite quick. So that was 5 pros. So now let's talk about 5 negatives or 5 cons. So this is the part people don't promote, obviously, and we don't like talking about this stuff. We just don't like talking about negative stuff in general, really. But that's just the point of the video. We're telling the truth, some good points and bad points. And yeah, I suppose it's not good for business, really. Like, you don't want to be talking about robberies and stress and stuff of customers, because it ain't really the best advert for wearing watches. But listen, it happens. It's no secret. So let's get into the cons. So number 1 would be you're a big target. So what I mean by that is a target of things like robberies, scams, etc. It could be something as small as someone want to come into your shop and office and swap a real watch with a fake watch, or do a grab and run, or a small credit card, trying to pay on a Moody credit card for a small transaction. And then I'm also talking about things as big as heavy armed robberies at people's shops and homes and offices. And this isn't something we hear of every now and then or once in a while. This is something we hear of every single week. Comes up in a WhatsApp group, we get a phone call, we hear it from friends. This is something that happens constantly in this industry, unfortunately. And I think it probably happens in any industry that's involved with bigger numbers and money. But yeah, especially in this job, I think it's because watches have such a high value and they're so small, so they're very portable. I think that makes it appealing for people to try and take. Yeah, we've had a few incidences. We've had like 3 or 4 quite serious things, like one thing at home and a few at the shop, attempted armed robberies and things. We've been followed. I'm trying to think of the most recent things you call like scam or fraud. Yeah, we had a guy come in and tried super confident, tried putting a card transaction through for 30,000 odd for some diamond bits. And his mate phoned up the card didn't go through. His mate phoned up pretending to be the bank, saying the payment's cleared, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we cottoned on to that. But if that was a normal kind of shop, that would have gone through. If it was like a manager, because he would have been buzzy about the transaction. I just spoke to the bank, it's gone through. But yeah, that one didn't work. And then we had, literally the other month, I actually took about 20,000 transfer for an AP. The money landed. This person was emailing me. I wasn't 100% sure something was wrong, but I was 90%. Like, it's weird. You have in this job, like I'll go over later, but yeah, you can't switch off to, you just feel in tune when something's not right. But anyway, this is one of those times. The money got transferred to us. They was asking to send the watch out. They wouldn't speak to us on the phone. They were just emailing. I just knew something wasn't right. I spoke to the bank. They said it's our money. It's fine. It's clear. I never sent the watch, and I ended up getting a call from the bank about a week later saying, you still have the watch, because the transaction wasn't right, and I had to end up sending the bank the money back just out of our goodwill. So yeah, but it's constant. You got to be on your toes constantly, you know. We pay 5 figures for our shop insurance to cover us, but yeah, so that's enough on that one anyway. Number 1, you're a big target, which that follows on nicely to number 2, the paranoia. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone in this job, like, you do get paranoid. So obviously, like I said, number 1, being a target, this is always on your mind. Like, you can't escape it. Like I was saying, whether you're off work, if you're at home and you get a knock on the door, you walk into your car from the shop, you're meeting a new customer, it's always in the back of your mind, what could go wrong and what's this person up to. So this industry does definitely do something to your head. It just wires you up different. You do get a bit paranoid, but I think that's just through all the stories and things you hear. And it's not a bad thing. It keeps you sharp, you know. It keeps you switched on. If you was too sloppy, you definitely get caught out easier. Yeah, and when something happens to someone you know or someone close to you, like when an incident happens, something happens at someone's shop or home, whatever, it intensifies. And for the next few weeks, you want to get some better security, and you're on everyone. And then slowly it dulls down. It never leaves you, but then slowly, when nothing happens for a while, it kind of dulls down. So it just kind of goes in cycles. But yeah, it definitely never leaves you. So number 3, big turnover and small profit. So remember this, turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. So yeah, you're turning over big numbers, but I think compared to probably other industries, the profit is small compared to what you turn over. So if I was to take, it makes you laugh, like if I was to sell a watch for 30,000, I know people from the outside are thinking, he just took 30 grand, and they can see me like spending 30,000, like they think you're going to book a holiday and buy a car, but they don't realise you've had to buy that watch. It's been sitting in the counter, you've only got a small profit in it, and out of that small profit, you're paying your bills and wages and bits and bobs. So with the big turnover, you have a lot of money tied up. You're talking big lumps of money. So if you're physically traveling with anything, you've got that risk of whatever, it going missing, leaving it somewhere, getting robbed. You've got a lot of money, only a small amount of profit in them, but you're carrying a lot of money. You've got a lot of money in your shops, and you've got a lot of money tied up in stock. So yeah, it's a big turnover, but like I said, remember, turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. Number 4 would be stress. And I suppose this is a bit of a general one, like you would have stress in any business when you're busy and got a million things going on, juggling. But in the watch game, the teams are quite small. I know there's some exceptions and some big companies out there, but most independents like us, it would be quite normal to have a turnover in the tens of millions, but only have a team of 2-3 people. Yeah, because the teams are small, everything does come back to you. You're handling a lot of money. You're dealing with a lot of people. There's always a lot of problems. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad, and you're kind of dealing with all of that usually. So yeah, it can be super stressful at times. So number 5 would be a lot of competition. So now, the last few years, there's been an influx of new watch dealers, which is good because competition's healthy and it shows you how much of a market there is for watches. It's so easy for people to set up. They just set up an Instagram page, they get a little logo, they can have a few watches, and you do pretty well at the start because you sell to a lot of people you know. You sell to your circle, they want to encourage you and use you. So everyone kind of has a 6-month boost that's quite easy, but it's stepping it up that's hard. It's getting that first member of staff to help you, it's putting that bigger chunk of money or raising a bit more capital to put into the watches. It's getting an office or getting a shop. It's quitting what you're doing and doing the watches full time, because part-time effort is only ever going to get part-time results. Yeah, there's so much competition out there. So don't think, the reason why I brought this point up is it's more so if you're kind of new to the game, you can't think just because watches are known by everyone and quite popular, you're going to just set up an Instagram page and do really well and the kind of money's going to come to you. It's anyone that does well in this job, it's not because they sell watches, it's because they work hard at it, you know. So people don't talk about all the stress they've had and all the time they've put in, and they only want to put on their Instagrams and their social medias all the positive stuff and the big products and that. But trust me, anyone who does well in this business is a hard grafter, and they put in a lot of effort, sacrifice a lot of stuff. But as a summary, it's more so in general a positive business. Like I said, all of the dealings with customers are positive. Most of the people in the trade are good as gold, and we love it. We won't want to do nothing different. So that was it for video 3. A few pros and a few cons. I wanted to do something a little bit different and kind of give a bit of a truthful insight. So let us know what you think. Obviously the last video I've done with my dad, that was good to have 2 of us. I'm going to do a lot more of them in the future, but I need to get these ones out by myself just to get the numbers up. Like, you know, I've got to hit 50, so 47 to go. So that was it. So let us know what you think, and we'll see you soon.